Hey all, welcome to another deck profile. This time Joey's. So Joey Wheeler from the anime. This is a deck replica of something that he would use. So it's not a competitive deck, it's just a fun deck to play with other replica decks and see how they kind of hold their own and just enjoy the cards as they were used in the show and the manga. So basically, it's not a competitive meta deck, so it only runs one copy of each card instead of multiple copies to build on different archetypes and strategies. It's just for the fun of the game. So of course we lead off with Red Eyes, some normal monsters that he used in the game, that also fusion summon. I incorporated the two components to build Flame Swordsman. So Flame Swordsman takes those two cards. He doesn't really exclusively use these two cards. I think he might one time in the manga, but I haven't actually read the entire manga. So I just included these two cards as ways to bring out Flame Swordsman instead of using instant fusion to bring him out. I decided to actually incorporate the physical cards in. Of course, Baby Dragon, a very signature card of Joey, and Swordsman of Landstar. So he does have a lot of effect monsters that mainly are warrior type cards. Starting off with Guildford the Lightning. So basically this card is a Regeki built into its monster effect. So if you tribute 3 cards to bring it out instead of using the normal 2, you can just destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Really awesome. And it is one of his stronger cards, having a 2800 attack. Same with Guildford the Legend. So another really strong warrior type monster. This one focuses on drawing equip spells from the graveyard. So we do run 2 of those in this deck. Ideally I would like to run 3, but I think the trap lineup is needed more in this old style of deck, so we only run the 2. And then also Gearfried, the Swordsmaster. So this one relies on having Gearfried tributed with Release Restraint to bring up this great swordsman, and if you equip an equip spell to him, he can destroy a monster on your opponent's side of the field. So also really good. Now onto my personal favorite card, Jinzo. So this deck is built to have quite a few traps, so bringing this guy out isn't always ideal, but he can shut down the traps of your opponent as well. So in a tight situation, he is insanely powerful, and being only a 1 tribute required monster and having 2400 attack, he is super good to bring out. Also, we have Goblin Attack Force and Elite Goblin Attack Force and Panther Warrior, all level 4 cards with very high attack, and you can bring these out and they don't have to activate their effects if you don't choose, so you can build a wall of attack points with just these easy to bring out level 4 monsters. Like I said, Gearfried is a very vital choice. He uses this so frequently in the anime. And then also Blue Flame Swordsman, a card that he used once, I think, and it was an anime card and it just got made into an actual OCG TCG card. So that's pretty cool. I thought I would add him in there just for extra Flame Swordsman support. Rocket Warrior, another famous card he uses very frequently, along with Little Wingguard, and once or twice I think he's used Marauding Captain. I saw that in many deck profiles for him, and it adds to the consistency of this deck to play, so Marauding Captain's a good choice. Hayabasa Knight, also used frequently. Having a double attack is pretty sweet, especially when you equip that card with an equip spell. And then the Comrade of Landstar, basically a very famous card to go with the Swordsman of Landstar. One of the only Landstar cards to actually get printed into the actual trading card game. So most of this archetype didn't actually get printed, but this card did. And his ability to increase the attack points of warrior type monsters by 400 is actually a pretty useful effect. And then I only run the two different Sasuke Samurais, number 1 and number 2. I think he might have used the other ones in previous times, but I've only really seen him use Sasuke Samurai, and I think in the manga he used this once, and I think it's fairly useful for this deck, so I definitely included it. And then probably his signature card, the one he's had the longest, is Time Wizard. Time Wizard is such a powerful card back in the day. So many people just used it in whatever deck they ran just because it could destroy all of your opponent's monsters. And this can keep going as long as your luck's good. So, of course we would run it. We have 1 polymerization for our 3 fusion monsters here. We have Release Restraint for our Gearfried. Roulette Spider. Now this is a fun card that also got printed a little while back. That he used in his battle against, oh I forget his name, but one of the brothers where he won Jinzo. So you roll a dice, and each face of the die results in a different effect. So that's pretty cool. I love adding to the chance theme of this deck. Scapegoat, good for Panther Warrior to get tributes off of, so you can attack. And then we also have Graceful Dice, mirrored with Skull Dice here. Just attack and defense. It's ideal to use these both at the same time, just so, and because this is a quick play, luckily. Joey's used that in sequence quite a few times in many of his duels, and they've always led to help him out. Now I have a second coin toss in here. Now this is a card that was shown in Joey's deck, but he's never actually used, and I thought I would add it in there solely for Time Wizard. Also Fairy Box as well, because they both rely on a flip of a coin, and you really want the outcome to be positive. So that's why I add second coin toss to keep things kind of more consistent. I have 2 equip spells, and then Nutrient Z. So since I am in Canada, I call it Nutrient Z. Basically, if you take more than 4,000, if you take 2,000 or more, increase your life points by 4,000 before the damage. So that's a way to kind of save yourself from a big attack, high level monsters in this kind of legacy duels. And Kunai with Chain, another trap card that also acts as a equip card, perfect for this deck. He's used it so many times, it's just second nature. Grave Robber, not a very practical card. Luckily we're at 8,000 life points in the actual card game, so this doesn't take such a huge hit as it would in the anime, but it is fun to take one of your opponent's spell cards from their graveyard, so it is fun to run, and it's very iconic. Now these 2 cards he used, I don't know if he ever used Double Magical Arm Bind, but it was in his hand at one point. He has used Magical Arm Shield a lot. So basically, all you do is you tribute 2 monsters that you control, obviously, then target 2 face-up monsters your opponent controls, and take control of both of those into the end phase. So that's really ideal for bringing out one of your high-level monsters that require 2 tribute summons or more. And so if you do have enough for that, and maybe you want to take away your opponent's field, that leaves you basically an open attack to their life points in most cases. And then finally, of course, Fairy Box, a card he's used, another chance card, and really protects your monsters. For the side deck, I just threw in some other cards he's used and has had either in his deck at some point that were slightly shown. Cards I didn't want to add in because they kind of took away the consistency, or that I feel like wasn't really brought into the anime, because these 2 cards were used, well, Reinforcement Armies was used in some games and in the manga. The Warrior Returning Alive was used a couple times. I also used Pot of Greed and Monster Reborn on my personal version of this deck, but I can't obviously use them in here and actually use this deck for much other duels. So Pot of Greed, Monster Reborn, 2 cards that are banned. I don't actually include them in this deck list, but that would be something that you might want to add in to a personal deck. If you're just going to duel for fun, I couldn't add them into here and actually use the deck, so that's why I haven't used them. But they do sit in my side deck sometimes, on my personal deck, and sometimes in the actual physical deck of it. I have another equip spell, just for power. It's exclusive to Warrior, it doesn't get very much, so that's why it sits on the sidelines. And then just Metal Morph to bring out Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. So, I hope you enjoyed my Joey's deck profile. It's something that I really enjoy to use for all the fun different duels I can do, and it's just nice to look back on how much this game has evolved. This was actually a fairly consistent deck maybe 10, 15 years ago, but nevertheless, it is so fun to run, and I recommend you giving it a try, and give me feedback if you like this kind of legacy deck profiles. But, as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to catch you in the next one. As always, peace.